Hello, everyone. Welcome to Inside Monster Jam, powered by Lucas Oil, the official Monster Jam podcast. I'm Scott Jordan, and earlier this season, we talked about the evolution of female superstars in the sport with Kayla Blood and Cynthia Gauthier. And one driver we talked about who can flat out kick everybody's tail on the freestyle track is known around the world as the Princess of Carnage, and she joins me in studio. It's my pleasure to welcome in Whiplash driver Brianna Mahon. Brianna, great to see you. Welcome to Inside Monster Jam.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Now, last time we saw you driving was back in London a year ago. Talk a little bit about that experience you had over there.
Yeah, we were in London, last May, and it was great. It was great to be back in a stadium after being on arenas all first quarter and to be driving a truck I've never driven before, Monster Mutt Dalmatian. The fans loved it. They were great over there. We had a wonderful show, and, I'd never been to London before, so it was a great experience.
So after that show, you step away from the sport for what feels like an eternity since we've seen you. Talk a little bit about why you stepped away and what life away from the track has been like for you.
Yeah, it's been about 9 months now. I have been growing a mini Whiplash. I'm pregnant, so due any day. Really excited about that, to grow our family and really, get another female out here in the motorsports world.
You say any day, so we hope that for the next 22 minutes we can, as much fun as we like to have meeting the new Miss Whiplash, we'll let you get out of here before any of that stuff happens.
Let's hope for that.
when you were in London, at the time, did you know that it was going to be your last show for a while?
No, I knew that I had a little bit of a break this summer, and my next stop, I think, honestly, wasn't until that fall, and we were supposed to do Australia and things. But you know what? There was other plans in the work apparently, and I've always wanted to grow our family, and it was the perfect timing. So I couldn't ask for a better summer.
I know anybody that follows you on Instagram knows how important your family is to you. How has your husband been through this process? With you supportive of you stepping away and supportive of your dreams after the baby's born as well?
Oh, absolutely. I could not have married a better man. And, he's been there every step of the way, working hard to, help cover the bills. And, but yeah, he was the first person to say, like, you have to go back. Like, you love this. This is your passion. This is all that you know. And, we'll figure it out. We'll make it happen. So
we'll talk a little bit about your future plans. I know you were here today discussing a little bit of that, but I want to talk about when you were in London. You were one of the drivers that can almost, it seems, seamlessly go from an arena show to a stadium track and back. So when you were driving on the Arena Series a year ago, what was the transition like for you to open up into a big track like the one that was in London?
Yeah, going from stadiums to arenas, not that I struggle, but you kind of have to get your rhythm back. You don't have that freedom to just be crazy and be the, Princess of Carnage that I am. So going from, arenas to stadiums, it's just like all bets are off the table. I absolutely love it because you can just go out and really, I guess, drive like I know how to drive. You don't have to think so technically per se.
How were the fans to you out in London? It was the first show we had there in a long time. I know I've done Wales out there, and I know the fans were incredibly proud and happy to have us. It was almost like we were at an English football game out there. So were they as vivacious out there for you guys as they were for us?
Absolutely. That's one thing I've always noticed about international shows is that their passion for Monster Jam is through the roof. We sell out stadiums everywhere nowadays overseas, and to just be able to come in and be welcomed with open arms is great.
Well, listen, we will delve more into your career. When we come back, we're going to get to the origins of your Monster Jam career, which led to you being named the 2015 Rookie of the Year. So I'm excited to talk to you about that. But we have Brianna Mahon in here all show. I'm excited to catch up with her. I know you are as well. More Brianna Mahon, more Whiplash, and hopefully not the debut of Miss Whiplash on this show as we continue here with Inside Monster Jam, powered by Lucas Oil. More of that on the way, coming up soon. Welcome back to Inside Monster Jam, powered by Lucas Oil. This week, I'm joined in studio by the Princess of Carnage, Brianna Mahon. Brianna, before you ended up in a Monster Jam truck, you had a career in motocross. Talk a little bit about your experience on a two-wheel truck as opposed to the four-wheel, the two-wheel bike.
Yeah, that was my entire life from the time I was 3 years old up until, my 20s, was racing motocross and traveling the country and chasing that professional dream, and thankfully, I was able to go through the ranks and make that happen up until an injury had me one of many injuries, I should say. I had to take a step back and, I was an instructor. I worked with a lot of different organizations teaching kids how to ride dirt bikes as well after the fact. But after that, I transitioned once I healed into dirt track racing and, mini sprints. And that's when really Monster Jam presented itself. And I would have never thought um, I would end up where I am today after all these years. And honestly, it was a dream I never knew I had until, Tom Mintz presented it to me. And I couldn't be more thankful. I've lived such a blessed life and got to do so many amazing things with Monster Jam.
That was MJU for you. I know a lot of riders coming over from the motocross, supercross struggle with the transition to Monster Jam. So, how was it like for you to learn from Tom at Monster Jam University?
Honestly, I really felt it was really seamless. I think going into dirt track racing in the middle kind of helped bridge that gap of two wheels to four. And honestly, it helped me be able to save the truck and maneuver the truck in different ways other than people who maybe came from, say, drag racing or different things. Um, I kind of put a little bit of motocross skill into jumping the Monster Jam truck, same as how I drive my mini sprint going through a corner in racing in the Monster Jam truck. So I kind of had a lot of like different things to pull from when it came to my driving style.
And you mentioned off the air that you worked with our new broadcast partner, Adam Enticknap, at some point in your career. What was that like meeting Adam on that
Yeah,
circuit?
that's what's cool about motocross is in the motorsport industry is it doesn't matter where you're from or where you go, you've raced with everyone at some point. You've crossed paths with somebody or heard of them and so to be able to see somebody from the moto community here in Monster Jam as well is just really cool and I'm always over here cheering people on and I've brought so many people over into the industry throughout the years. Justin Sipes, I grew up with him and it's just amazing to see people do so great that have ended their motocross careers.
It's amazing the number of athletes that try to make the transition. It's not for everybody.
Yeah.
You don't not every driver that rides a bike can transition to a Monster Jam truck. And it's the same, I think, from the other standpoint. If you start as a Monster Jam driver, you may not be able to ride a dirt bike. So you've
Yes.
seen some of these premier athletes from motocross and supercross not succeed. So do you feel any sense of pride that you were able to go from a successful career on a bike to a successful career in a truck?
Definitely. And you just never know how it's going to work out, and spending a full summer, almost a full year at Monster Jam University, I think had a lot to do with how my career took off so quickly. Tom really invested a lot of time in my driving and being so close to Monster Jam University, living wise, made it really beneficial for me because if they had an open seat, he'd call me like, "Hey, come up and train." So it really gave me more opportunity to get behind the wheel. So by the time I came to my first show, I had already driven for almost a year. So it really was seamless coming into the event standpoint of things.
And it showed because that first weekend you won a racing competition, you'd go on to win a freestyle as well on your way to Rookie of the Year. Did you have those expectations when you started that, hey, I'm not only am I going to go out and do this, I'm going to go out and I'm going to be the best rookie out here, and I'm going to be this superstar that you became?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely not. I mean, I was out there with, Tom's son, with Colt Eichelberger, with all of these other really heavy hitters that came in. And I was just having a blast. I was just having fun. I was on tour with some of the best people. I was out there with Chad Tingler, with Cynthia Gauthier, with Cam McQueen. So we really had a great group that really helped push each other and give each other that confidence.
Did you get any pushback from any drivers? I talked to Cynthia and Kayla. They said when they started, there was some pushback there because the women's evolution wasn't quite where it is today. So what was that experience like for you?
I mean, personally for me, I feel like not really. But I came from a sport where they didn't want women involved. I mean, the motorsports and motocross, it was not well supported and they didn't want us there. I mean, they dissolved unfortunately, the pro division. And so to come into a sport like Monster Jam, you're always gonna have the 1 or 2 people that are like, "Oh, another girl," or what girls can't do what boys can do, but other than that, I really had a great experience with it, so, I was very fortunate in that standpoint.
Did you take names at any point when somebody would say that? It's like, "Okay, I'm gonna beat you tonight, I'm gonna beat you tomorrow night," and then the next night, was it just a tally sheet going on for you at all?
No, not really. I really, like my dad always told me sitting on the line racing is you already have half of these people beat sitting here. The other half are up to you to do. And so every time I get out there, on the track, I've already got half of y'all beat. I'm just here to do my thing and have a blast.
And then you beat the other half in the competition. Up
Yes.
next, we will revisit Brianna's first trip to World Finals, and we will find out what the future holds for Whiplash. All of that is coming up next. So stay right where you are. More Inside Monster Jam, powered by Lucas Oil, is next. Welcome back to Inside Monster Jam, powered by Lucas Oil. I'm Scott Jordan, joined once again in studio by Brianna Mahon. Brianna, we talked about your debut. You debuted in Scooby-Doo, became a part of that team, and then you work your way to that Rookie of the Year. You go to World Finals for the first appearance in Medusa, which is a truck known, worldwide. 2 World Finals championships for Medusa. What was that experience like for you to take over that seat and compete in the showdown at World Finals?
That was such an honor to have someone like Medusa, want me to drive her truck, her brand, that what she's created, and to be able to do it at that level, it was amazing. There was some pushback from people along the way that I'm not gonna say don't think that I deserved it or whatever. I had a great season leading up to that, and unfortunately, you know how all seasons go, like, you have these highs and then you start to have some lows, and so I won all these events, and then it started kinda trickling at the end because everyone was chasing that title, so it got harder and harder with the competitions. Um, so it was a little disheartening going in there, almost like I was trying to, like, prove myself and, like, "No, I deserved this, like, I didn't just get handed this." But it was a great experience. I did my first backflip, and I remember coming across to my crew guy and I was like, "What do I do now?" And he goes, "Keep going. Like, you're not done yet." Because I didn't think I would ever get another opportunity to do a backflip. So when it comes down to, the world finals, anything goes. And I left it all out there and it worked out. Sometimes I would get in my own head about it. Like you have to perform a certain way. And if you didn't, people are gonna talk or what's wrong with her. And so, there's a kind of a standard to it, but every weekend I just went for it.
In 2018, we see the debut of Whiplash, which has become your identity on the Monster Jam track. I know we've talked a little bit about this before, but for our fans that are just tuning in to see you for the first time, what was your involvement in the development of Whiplash?
Yeah, that was such an amazing phone call to get to say, "Hey, like we love who you are as a person. We love who you like your style and what you bring to the table. We want to turn that into a Monster Jam truck." And so we sat down and I got to be a part of the entire design process and the theme song and what the truck looked like and the body style. And I mean, we spent hours, going through different variations of it and then obviously landing on what we did and the name. And I even got a hand in helping with the merchandise. I mean, those first couple years we had such amazing merchandise and I had my own booth next to the truck and you know, who would have ever thought? Like, that's just not something you get to see every day. There's not a lot of drivers that get to create an entire brand based off who they are. So it was an honor.
I think that truck and your image and your personality personify what a female superstar is in this sport because at the pit party we'd see you with your merchandise table. You had all the best merchandise, the best colors. You came out in the hat, looking dressed to the nines, but then you'd get in the truck, the light would go green, and it was here is that Princess of Carnage, and you tore it up. I do want to talk about an injury that happened because I was there that night. You got injured. You had to miss a couple events. So is that something that you maybe took the Carnage a little bit to another level, or just something that you couldn't control that happened? And are you able to talk about that at all?
Yeah, that was definitely, I would say, a good reality check. That coming from dirt bikes and not being in a cage, the consequences of your actions. And then going to being in a full roll cage, it's almost like, oh, I'm indestructible. I can do anything and not like I can walk away unscathed. And unfortunately, between the hype of my crew chief and the hype of the show and how well I was doing, we went for, a stunt that it didn't work. And I think it really went, oh, in my brain, I was like, okay, Like, you can be crazy and you can be the Princess of Carnage, but, like, there is a line there of, maybe we should, not push that limit that far, because, we debuted the truck and then, Cynthia had to fill in for me, and it was really disheartening to sit back and go, "Man, like, I just did this to myself." So, it was really a, "Hey, you can still drive really well and still go crazy, but maybe, like, let's not go that
Well,
crazy."
I think you started adding, you kept the carnage up and you kept that
Yeah.
ferocity up in your runs, but I also think you started adding a little more technical
Yes.
moves to your freestyle, so it elevated you a little bit, and that would lead you to World Finals in Orlando, where you finished 3rd in freestyle, which I thought put you on the map. Not that you weren't already there, but it just solidified Brianna Mahon as one of the premier freestyle drivers in the world. And there were a lot of fans on social media that were clamoring for your victory that night. That thought you should have won. Would you agree that maybe that one got away?
I mean, honestly, like, being up there with, Lindsay and Cam, like, Cam is such an amazing driver, and I didn't think I deserved it over him, but that's just, like, me in general. I never feel like, "Oh, I shoulda won that," but, it was a great it was a I still don't even have words for that. I can't even put into words how I felt standing up there on that podium that night, because I went out there and drove. I felt different than I've ever driven before. Like, I purposely was driving a certain way to make the truck react the way that it did, and, people wanna put their input in on, "Oh, well, you shouldn't have drove like, why are you jumping with the front end so high?" and different things, but it was to make the truck look kinda like how the Andersons drive and go crazy and try to get those epic saves. Because if anyone knows my style, like, I really don't get those really cool saves, and so everything worked out perfectly that week, and, I had a blast, and the truck held on, and I would love to do it again.
Brianna Mahon in her 4th World Finals appearance, and that is a way to get it started. A nice save out there. Looked like she was going to go end over end and was able to stay on all 4 tires when it came down to that final jump there.
She hit that new tire stack jump. It's the first time I've seen it all year. I believe it's the first time we see this. It's a stack of tires. Kind of cool to jump that they put in the mix of here at the World Finals.
She was able to debut Whiplash last year. She's been in World Finals before with Medusa and Scooby-Doo, but now she has this truck. She was able to be there from that conception, and now this is her brand. And look at that save
There
for
you
Brianna
go.
Mahon and Whiplash.
You talk about ragged edge, right there is driving on the ragged edge. But you got to stay in it, man. It's all about transitions, point A to point B, and she's doing that right here. Look at that big air she's doing right there. But again, right there, she's doing a great job of getting the big air, driving a little bit of ragged edge right there.
And another nice save for Brianna Mahon, and she is starting to put it on and turn this thing on for this Orlando crowd, this Whiplash truck. She is going to run it ragged into the crowd if that's what it takes to get off that ramp with a sky wheelie and
Another
a one-wheel save.
She's cross-threading like crazy, which is awesome. It's something that some of the other drivers haven't done yet before her, so she's doing something a little bit different than the rest of the drivers before her.
And she is all over the track going every single direction, but it doesn't matter if you save it.
She's doing everything she can just to fill the clock, which that's the most important thing. Fill your 2 minutes, have a little fun with the fans, do the best you can with what you have, and that's what she's trying to do right here. And I think she's about done right now.
Her best finish in World Finals freestyle was 12th. I think she may have done a lot better on that run as the Orlando crowd now up on her feet. And Brianna Mahon knows that run was amazing. 3 saves. Well, with you, being out on the sidelines right now, getting ready to welcome a new addition to your family, the truck has remained on the sidelines as well. What do you think about that? Because usually we see drivers can't drive, another driver goes into that truck, but Whiplash has stayed on the sidelines with you.
Yeah, I didn't really know what to expect, honestly. And, knowing whenever we created the truck that was always a possibility, I was like, oh, if they put someone in it, I hope like she does the name well. But, they've left my truck on the side, and that's kind of for me to come back to. And so it gives me a lot of, confidence, and like, just, I'm very blessed to still have my brand out here and them still talk about, Whiplash, even though we're not out competing.
When do we see Brianna Mahon back in Whiplash?
This year, like I said, any day now we're due. So I'm really ready to get back in the saddle as soon as we can.
And you think you'll come out with that same ferocious Whiplash style we've seen, or is it going to be, I'm a mom now, I'm going to check it down a little bit?
No, I'm a cool mom now.
But you got to be a cool mom. You're going to be a cool mom anyway when your
Yeah.
daughter comes and sees all the cool merchandise that you have. Because my
Yes.
daughters loved your merch table, by the way. We have Whiplash merchandise in my house as well. Coming up, we are going to get you involved in the conversation. I'll be giving Brianna Mahon all of your fan questions. That's coming up right here next on Inside Monster Jam, powered by Lucas Oil. We are back with more Inside Monster Jam powered by Lucas Oil, and we're back with more Brianna Mahon. We're going to ask your fan questions right now. Don't forget, you can stay involved in the conversation by following me on Instagram at ScottJordanMJSX. So we're going to kick things off with, this one's a tough name to even say, Ig Yo Dadaman, I guess we'll go there. Wants to know if you've been paying attention to rookie female drivers this year and who impresses you the most.
Absolutely, and they've brought in more females, I think, than they've ever brought in at one time, and so that's amazing to see. I got to meet all of them, at our annual summit meeting, and so I really think, like, Ashley's personality coming out here in Megalodon, she is such a sweet girl. She is such that vivacious energy. She's been super consistent. She just got her first win the other week, and I'm pretty sure, like, I saw tears coming out of her eyes, and I love that passion. We've got Chelsea coming in over in Sweden. Yeah, she had a quick, easy, silly rollover in freestyle, but for your first event being a stadium, I could not even imagine, how that feels. And, the girls, they've just been super consistent. She's going to step in and drive El Toro, and that's a huge shoes to fill, but I have so much confidence in these girls. And, and even Jamie coming in and driving Monster Mutt Dalmatian, she's been killing those donut wins. And I love to see it. I think that we've got such an amazing group of females now.
It's a big year for female drivers in Monster Jam. Brendan Jopp wants to know, are you hoping to be back in time for the Superstar Challenge in November to defend your title in the best trick competition? Well, Brendan, I don't know if that's going to be part of the competition in there, but let's hypothetically say yes.
I would love to. I mean, that was the craziest attempt at a stunt, went bad, but went right. And, I got a trophy out of it. The fans loved it. So I would absolutely love to be back by then.
One more quick question from SMWC. What's been your favorite truck to drive so far in your career?
Definitely my own. Definitely creating Whiplash and having that brand. I mean, coming out driving the red, white, and blue Medusa was such an honor and really turned heads, but you just can't get better than your own truck.
Exactly. And listen, I think I speak for all the fans watching right now that you are sorely missed in the sport. We do hope you will be back soon, but I do wish you the best of luck with your newest edition, and hopefully we'll see you back here soon.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, that's all the time we have for this week. Make sure you stick around here for multiple episodes coming your way right here on Inside Monster Jam, powered by Lucas Oil.